Hey everybody, it's Comedex, and welcome back to another Kaldheim Premiere Draft. We've had our fun in the sun with a little sealed lately, a little break from all of the drafts, but now that that little bit's over, we can get back to the regularly scheduled, pretty much daily drafts, alongside just some more chill, non-arena open related stuff. That was a big old stressful tournament, and it's going to be nice to get back to where I feel definitely most at home here, hopping back into the drafts. So we have opened up a pretty powerful rare, definitely a good enough one to pick one pack one here, I think. Seraph the Realm Eater, a 3/3 for 3, gets a +1/+1 counter whenever one of our opponent's permanents is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, you can remove all of the counters from it to exile each non-land permanent with mana cost less than or equal to the number of counters that you had amassed onto it. So I think Seraphs are pretty easy first pick here. It's just a very powerful card. You do not have to put a lot of work into it for it to be good, but I do like the Judge of Valor a lot as well. The Usher's good in aggressive decks, and none of our commons looked that insane. I do like Runed Crown with pretty much any runes. You get a single rune, and this is a 3-mana equipment that draws you a card when it comes into play, and then equips to give like +1/+1 Death Touch, or +2/+2 Trample, +1/+1 Flying, a bunch of like really good stuff. So if you get any runes to go with Runed Crown, I think this card's quite good. Kaya's Onslaught can be a good finisher in a white aggressive deck, but obviously that's pretty far from what we're doing with Seraph, and we would like to play that card. Same with Great Hall of Starnheim, good for black-white, but that's kind of far out from what we're doing with Seraph, especially because this requires double white. So maybe we'd be like black-white splash in the green. We do have Shimmerdrift Veil we could play in any color scheme as a good mana fixer, so that would be a good pick for just staying completely open, but I feel the Rune Crown stays completely open as well, because it's a colorless card and there's runes in every single color that we could end up with. So I like maybe Masked Vandal for just staying green, Shimmerdrift Veil for being super open, or Runed Crown for being super open. I'm actually going to go with the Crown here. That might be taking the Crown pretty highly, but I do like that card quite a bit. And now we have a Seraph's Packmate, just a really good green common, 4 mana for a 3/3 and draw a card, or if you foretell it, you can cast it for only 2 and do that, which is pretty nice, because that means you can keep hands with not a lot of mana and still be able to cast this to draw a card and try to get out of your mana screw. Say you only have 2 lands in your hand and you have a Packmate in it, you know at the very least you're casting a Packmate. You just might do it slowly. You might foretell it turn 2, play it turn 3. So I think that that Packmate is really solid, and the foretell on it is quite nice. I think it's definitely better than the black cards in this pack, better than the Jarl, even better than the Berserker. Berserker's only really good in a very, very aggressive deck, not exactly what Green-Black's doing. Green-Black's more of kind of like value piles, where Packmate is going to be a lot better. I think the other best card in here is Bound in Gold, because this is just really good removal, but obviously Bound in Gold and Seraph don't mix together quite as well as Seraph and Seraph's Packmate. It's in the name. I mean, come on. It's in the name. Here we do pick up a Rune of Mortality to go with our Runed Crown. Pretty easy pick there when you have cards that literally name each other in terms of synergy. It's quite easy to just hop on that ship. And this pack's generally pretty weak otherwise. Iron Verdict is okay removal for a slower white deck, because obviously in an aggressive white deck you want things that can kill untapped creatures, you want things that can kill their blockers, and this just doesn't do that. And I find most of the best white decks in this format are pretty aggressive, so I just don't like this card a ton. Although White-Blue Foretell is where this card shines. Starnheim Course is pretty decent for a white aggro deck. None of these blue cards are that great. I'd say Pilfering Hawk might even be the best, just as an early drop that can block flyers, and it can filter your cards. Frostpeak Yeti, just 3/3 for 4, even with a good ability like this, is pretty small for its cost. And then, not a huge fan of Recluse, Growth, Draugr's just not great. This pack's generally pretty weak, I would say, so Rune of Mortality is a pretty easy pick. We do have a Jarl, another great card for just like a green-black value pile, which is kind of what we're leaning towards here, and pretty much the only playable green or black card. Roots of Wisdom's pretty bad. I mean, it's basically 2 mana to draw a card. Unless you're like specifically in an elf deck, maybe you get to filter with it, but even there, I don't like this card generally. Arnie Slays the Troll is actually probably the most powerful card at a baseline level. We could try to do some kind of 3-color thing here. Try to Jund somebody out. 2 mana, you get to fight a creature. So you get a Prey Upon, and then you get 2+1/+1 counters on one of your creatures, and then you gain some life. Just those first two abilities together, if you can get both of those to activate, this card is doing a lot. I think Jarl's like pretty solid, so I'm gonna just stick with Jarl there. If it was between that and like a Coma's Faithful, like a really filler black card, I probably would scoop up the Arnie Slays the Troll there, but I'm fine with the Jarl there. Here I'm happy to take another rune to go with my Runed Crown. This is also just generally pretty okay in like a black deck, because we could even throw it on like an Elderfang Disciple to turn our 1/1 into a 1/1 Death Toucher, maybe get some value that way. And you can always just cycle this. I mean, 2 mana to draw a card is not the end of the world, even if you don't get to put this on a creature, so you get literally no value that way. Yep, Kennel Master and Coma's Faithful are both pretty filler replaceable creatures, whereas the runes, to go with the Rune Crown, not particularly replaceable there. That was a late snow-covered island for like a snow deck. A late Demon Bolt here for red, and Replicating Ring for some kind of multicolored snow deck. We could also take Icehide Troll, but I think generally you want the snow sources before you start scooping up Icehide Troll. If you just take the trolls early, banking on grabbing snow sources, it can end poorly for you, especially because we see in this pack there are no snow lands here. So I think if I'm going to take a card that would lend itself well to a snow kind of deck, I just take the Replicating Ring, because this also helps us splash. If we do end up trying to go Jund, which could be a possibility, trying to splash in cards like Demon Bolt with how late this is gone. It could also just be like red-green or red-black if I scoop up Demon Bolt. Yeah, I think I'm actually just going to take Demon Bolt there. That might be wrong. Maybe we are supposed to just take Replicating Ring. But just feel like such a late Demon Bolt, and I might be able to cut red out of that. Wow, this is a late Rise of the Dreadmar, and I don't think this card is that bad. It's definitely not the power level of some of the bomby rares in the set, but if you just cast this after a couple creatures trade, it's like 3 mana for 2 2/2s, which is very good. And if you Fertile it, it's only 1 mana for that. And obviously you can try to set it up to get even more 2/2s out of it, but that doesn't happen super often. Generally, this is just like Fertile it and then at instant speed get 2 2/2s at some point. I think it's a super solid, super fine card. I'm happy to play it here. And I do like Grizzled Outrider. This pack does have a lot of red stuff in it. I mean, Tormentor's Helm is a good, just early equipment for a red deck. We do have double Rune of Mortality, so like a Rakdos deck. Throwing runes onto Tormentor's Helms and stuff like that could be really good, because then all of your early creatures, all of a sudden, they cannot block them without trading to even your small stuff. So with double Rune of Mortality, Tormentor's Helm is actually kind of tempting. Grizzled Outrider's mildly replaceable, but it is better than Faithful. I'm actually going to try out Tormentor's Helm here. With how late that Demon Bolt went, maybe we can push into maybe a red-black aggressive deck. Double Rune to go with cards like Tormentor's Helm does sound really good to me. Here it's going to be pretty easily a Kennel Master. Black is our most heavy color. While this card is relatively replaceable, I do want to take something that I can definitely play here, since I'm a little iffy on what I want to do for my second color. We just have not seen a lot of great green after we saw Seraph's Packmate. We saw basically nothing in green, as you can see in this pack as well, just no green cards, so we'll just take a Craven Hulk. It'll be fine in a Rakdos aggro deck. We do see a green card, but it's kind of a weak one. 3 mana for a 4/2 is just not a great rate. The reach is very helpful at making this card not just terrible. Yeah, I'll go with not Void Recluse. Cinderheart Giant's not super impressive, unless you're like red-blue giants with multiple of the cards that let you cast your giants for cheaper. Now we can take just an early aggressive red creature for a Rakdos aggro, and another one. The Raiders are not that great though. 1 toughness on the 2 mana card with no way to replace themselves or really get much other value. Alright, well, Binding the Old Gods to go with our Golgari stuff seems good here. And I do not think it will wheel, because there's probably somebody like playing a lot of splashy kind of stuff. Obviously the Shimmerdrift Veil and a lot of the Snowlands started disappearing near the end of that pack, so I think somebody would easily pick this up and splash it. We already have double Rune of Mortality. I don't think I need the third, but that could be okay. Elven Bow as well, just for the double rune. Have more equipments to go with it. Maskwood Nexus is fine, but it is a pretty slow card. I think it's pretty great in Sealed, because Sealed is generally slower, but in Draft there's a lot of times where this is just a bit slow for what it's doing. Maybe we do still take it in draft, though, but Binding the Old Gods is just always fantastic. I think I want to just take that here. I guess if we take Rune, we know we're playing it, Golgari or Rakdos, but I think Binding the Old Gods is just the strongest card. Another Rune of Mortality. Are we just going to have a million Rune of Mortalities? That really, really pushes me to want more equipment if I take another Rune here. If I don't take a Rune, I can take a Frostbite for Rakdos if we want to do Rakdos. Highland Forest or Shimmerdrift Vale are both good mana fixing for trying to do a full Jund here, all 3 colors. Probably a green splash. Rakdos with green splash is what it's looking like right now. Although our red cards are pretty mediocre, they're just the stuff we picked up late in the pack. So, although we really only have one good straight up green card, that's Packmate. 2 of our good green cards are just Golgari cards. Kind of want to take Shimmerdrift Vale because that's going to be the best mana fixing whatever we end up with. But Frostbite would be fine in Rakdos. Rune of Mortality would be fine. We could really commit to just the like 4 Rune of Mortality deck. That'd be kind of funny. I think I'm just going to take the Shimmerdrift Vale here. We did get a Demon Bolt here. Demon Bolt or the Eyeside Troll. Again, just not a lot of snow sources. We want a ton to go with the Eyeside Troll. I think I prefer Demon Bolt here. If I'm taking something in green or black, I'm taking Eyeside Troll or like Skull Raid or Village Rites. Yeah, Demon Bolt is just miles ahead of these other cards. In our current build, Eyeside Troll is kind of close if we had a bunch of snow cards. But I think Demon Bolt is just the best card. It's just such a great removal spell at its mana cost. Goldvein Pick with double Rune of Mortality actually excites me a lot, because even if we're not red by the end of this, we'll have more equipment to throw these runes onto, which is always good. And if we are red by the end of this, if we're 3 colors by the end of this, this also can get us some treasure tokens. We do want some more early, like 1 and 2 mana creatures to equip the Pick to, and start using it more often. But I think Goldvein Pick is, with double runes, a pretty easy pick here. We are taking it over a mediocre removal spell like Wither Crown, and just mediocre late game creatures like the Mob. Slumber Mound I do like quite a lot as well, but this does require double green, and green's kind of our lightest color currently. But I do think Slumber Mound is a good card, so we are like actually taking the pick over stuff that is good. That is absolutely true. We're not blue, we're not taking Bergstrider or Mistwalker, although they are some very good creatures. Probably, yeah, they're the best creatures in this pack. Another pack with a lot of just not great stuff. Runamuk's good in an aggressive deck if you have enough early creatures. Right now our only early creatures are Immersturm Raiders, which are very mediocre. I honestly feel like we're taking Wither Crown, Kennelmaster, Runamuk, or a Snow-Covered Mountain. Again, we just don't have enough white to be trying to do the Great Hall of Starnheim. Yeah, we're not very snowy, unless I start scooping up all these lands and try to wheel the troll. I'm gonna take a Runamuk. It's kind of a speculative pick, because that makes us really want early red and black creatures, especially like 1 mana 1/1 first strikers and stuff. God, the Ferocious Pup would be so good in this deck with the double Rune Mortality. That being said, we do have Elderfang Disciple here, which is also good with equipment when we have Rune of Mortalities on the equipment. So I think I like Elderfang Disciple here. Black is also going to be... Well, is it our heaviest color at this point? We actually have a good bit of red, but a lot of our red's mediocre. Double Demon Bolt's really good, but everything else in red is kind of just okay. If I take Frostbite, we are committing to red at this point. You know, let's hop on the red train, pick up a Frostbite, and I'm happy I did that, because I think Doomscar Titan's the best card in this pack. 5 mana for a 5/4 haste that buffs your whole field +1. Pretty solid. If we're not taking that, we're taking a more aggressive Breakneck Berserker at 3, or just a mediocre Coma's Faithful, Jasper Sentinel, kind of green or black card. I'm just going to take Doomscar Titan. I love that at the top end of any red deck. Now, what happens if I cut green? Things start looking real mediocre. Like, we need to get paid off in the last pack, but with how late we've been seeing Demon Bolts and stuff, I feel like we might be able to. Although we should definitely still consider like the full Jund. Maybe even be Gruul, maybe be Golgari. It depends on how things go. Here, maybe Longboat even? I don't know. Mediocre cards in basically every color. Definitely taking Deathnell Berserker here. This card is great with equipment, which we have an equipment theme at this point with Tormentor's Helm, Goldvein Pick, Runed Crown, double Rune of Mortality. if you give this additional power, then when it dies, it just replaces itself with another 2/2. So I think that card's definitely better than a Hulk or a Mob right now. And we are looking for just cheap creatures in general to go with our equipment. And I'm actually pretty glad I hopped on the red train if I'm seeing another Frostbite here. Pick 10. Not the greatest removal because it doesn't kill like anything, but it's pretty fantastic removal in a very aggressive deck, which I am now trying to lean myself towards here. So I'm happy with a Frostbite. Pretty late Cole the Forge Master for red-white. We have been seeing a lot of good white cards, so maybe that was like the open lane. I kind of like Snow-Covered Mountain for these Frostbites, but we're not super unlikely to get the full thing going, so we should probably just take a Mob at this point. Mob is really good with Death Touch as well. If we equip something that has a Rune of Mortality on it, then since this has Death Touch, we can just spend 2 to kill one of their creatures off of its boast, which is ridiculous. Alright, I mean, here I'll take a Snow-Covered Mountain. Seize the Spoils is just not great unless we're definitely splashing, and now I'm trying pretty hard not to. And we can just get Seize the Spoils anyway, because nobody takes that card. Alright, final pack. And we've got some choices here. Another Demon Bolt, fantastic at getting creatures out of the way. Varigoth, which is a pretty good rare, 3 mana for a 2/3 Death Touch. Every time we boast with it, we can set up our next draw to be whatever we want from our deck, so that's pretty solid. Crush the Weak, although Crush the Weak does not really work well in an aggressive red-black deck, because we're just going to have a lot of creatures that'll die to this. We're basically never going to have a time where our opponent has more things than this kills than we do. Unless we're playing the exact mirror, like we're playing against white-red aggro. I kind of want to just take Varigoth here. I mean, it just seems fun, and I am looking for more creatures. I have like 9 right now. We do need more creatures. Demon Bolt is great and all, but I have 2 Demon Bolts, 2 Frostbites. I'm doing okay on removal to where I can skip out on 1 Demon Bolt here, and we might even wheel it with how things have been going. It's not likely, but it could happen. We are definitely playing a Shimmerdrift Veil in here. You know, with a Gold Vein pick, Shimmerdrift Veil, we could still be just trying to splash in Seraphim Binding the Old Gods. Just Rakdos with a bit of a green splash. This pack's not great, but we can get a fine filler creature. Elderfang Disciple or Teskari Firewalker. These will both be super fine in here. Nothing insane. Guess I'll just take a cheaper creature right now. Oh wow, we really got paid off. Dragonkin Berserker is an absurd bomb. If you can attack with this and boast with it one time, you've got a 5/5 flyer on your field. Even if you're just chump attacking and your opponent eats this up, this card is solid. And with double Rune of Mortality in our deck, there will definitely be times where we can give this Death Touch. Like, if that ever happens, first strike at Death Toucher that they really need to kill is going to be absurd. We would love Gold Vein Pick here, though, too, because Gold Vein Pick helps us splash our Golgari bombs. But I think we got to just take the on-color bomb here. It's also a 2-mana creature that's very powerful. It just does a lot of what we want right now. But that pick did look kind of enticing there. Now we have a Firewalker, a Deathnell Berserker, or a Frostbite. Or just like another Kennel Master, Skull Raid or something. I've got enough like 5-mana stuff at this point. I don't want another Kennel Master. Probably Berserker or Frostbite here, or Firewalker. Only got 1 3-drop, only 1 3-mana creature. I guess Rune Crown's a 3-drop as well. We can drop that out on turn 3. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-mana creatures potentially. I'll go for the Firewalker here since I didn't last time. I do like that card a lot. If you can get some boasts out of it, it's pretty solid. I feel like we have enough kind of cruddy creatures that Carter's Vicious Return could be okay. This card isn't as exciting as it looks, but it's still okay in the right deck. Like, we've got Elderfang Disciple to sacrifice, Immersturm Raiders to sacrifice once they're not getting through anymore. Some tokens to sacrifice with Rise of the Dreadmarn. Yeah, Carter's Vicious Return could be okay here. It might wheel, though. Maybe we just take Provoke. Or just like a 1-drop creature to have something we could potentially equip really quick. I'm just going to take Vicious Return there. Happy to take Dwarven Reinforcements with multiple equipment, and now a card that wants us to sacrifice crappy creatures. If we're able to sacrifice a creature token to that, that'll be a really good time. And even if we're not, just being able to equip these things will be a good time also. I'm happy with the Dwarven Reinforcements here. Again, not really taking Wither Crown because I think we've got a decent amount of removal, and they're kind of better, in my opinion. Another Elderfang Disciple or Firewalker? The fact that I have Vicious Return here makes me kind of want another Disciple. But, I don't know. Just creatures that give me good value the second I play them, that I'm like super okay with sacrificing later. But we do only have one Vicious Return, so I'm like taking that to combo with one of our other cards, whereas Firewalker is just a good card in general. Disciple is too, but yeah, I'm going to take the Disciple. Another Doomscar Titan. Pretty happy to see that, although we could take the 3 mana 3/2 haste. I think this is just so good at the top end. And now we have another card that splits out multiple attackers, which is also good with this. Spreading your board as wide as possible is great. This makes it an even better finisher, so Dwarven Reinforcements combos well with it, alongside like Rise of the Dreadmarn. I'm cool with another Doomscar. We did wheel the Demon Bolts, alright then. We are taking it over Tormentor's Helm, so that is one less equipment we could have had, but maybe we'll wheel Goldvein Pick as well. Maybe we'll get real lucky. I believe that was in the next pack or the pack after that. We'll see. Alright, if it was in this pack, we didn't wheel it, but we did wheel a Firewalker. Super solid. Oh yeah, it wasn't in this pack. It was in pack 3. So next pack, we'll see if we wheeled Goldvein Pick. Here we go. No. Alright, that's fair. That's fair. We can take a 3/2 haste, another Firewalker, or a Squash. I do have double Doomscar Titan for the Squash, but I've got triple Demon Bolt now. I'm pretty set on removal, I think. Probably just take a Haster, actually. Get some more aggro going in here. We've got double Firewalker. We did wheel a Frostbite. We'll just wheel every Frostbite at least. Just have a ton of that kind of removal. Dusk Wielder's better than Smashing Success. I mean, destroying an artifact or land rarely matters. That is like a sideboard card, and we're playing best of 1. Alright. I do like this Rakdos aggro a lot. I think we're not going to end up splashing in any of the green. But yeah, green really did scoop it. Really did get scooped up there. Just did not see any good green cards after our first few picks. Except like Binding the Old Godge, which is green and black. So, kind of sad to not be able to play this stuff, but that'll happen sometimes. Sometimes other people open good green cards, and they will just hold to those things and keep you off the colors. So, sad day for that. And the best green cards that we saw were really like the Troll Warriors, so we would have needed a lot of snow lands to try to stick to that. So we got 51 cards here. I gotta cut a lot of stuff. That is for sure. So, we've got 18 creatures, a Dwarven Reinforcements, and Rise of the Dreadmarn. Definitely going to cut a Vault Robber. Just a 1/3 is not what we're looking for in an aggressive deck. A 1/1 isn't either, but it's got a good ETB effect that gives us value, or more accurately, takes value away from our opponent. Jarl we can foretell here. With double Doomscar Titan, I'm definitely tempted to cut one of these 5 drops, maybe even both, and like start cutting some lands as well. Definitely cutting Seize the Spoils. I suppose it is card draw, but still. I do like Run Amok in here. Kind of want to cut Dusk Wielder, but I do have a ton of equipment. We're going to have to make a lot of cuts to this thing. I'm just going to do the reverse here, because I'm going to have a hard time cutting cards. I'm just going to start by putting like our best stuff in until I hit 23 cards, I think. Dragonkin right there, bam, best card in the deck. Triple Demon Bolt right after that. Rise is solid. Pick up the Rune combo, I think. Goldvein Pick, Runed Crown, and double Rune Immortality. Pick up Varigoth. Jarl. Death Knell Berserker goes with the equipment. Well, the Frostbites are good. I don't know if I want triple Frostbite with triple Demon Bolt. Probably do want Tormentor's Helm with the weak creatures and the runes that we have. We have 4 creatures right now. Alright. Definitely need more of those. Dwarven Reinforcements is definitely coming in. Double Doomscar's coming in. The Firewalkers, the Disciples. I don't love the Immersturm Raiders, but we do need the 2-mana creatures, really. Oh, that is the wrong pile. Ten creatures right now, and we need 3 more cards. Yeah, I have so many non-creature cards that I want to play that I can't really do the triple Frostbite thing without running enough creatures, or without cutting enough creatures that our aggression is not as good. We need a ton of creatures, and we need them on curve to just get off the ground running. So I actually don't think I can afford the deck slots to throw Frostbites in here. We might even be cutting one of these equipment. I kind of want to cut Runed Crown just because it's the slowest, but it's just a good value card. That feels like a weird cut, but like Tormentor's Helm is kind of perfect in an aggressive deck. It only costs 1 to equip. You're still dealing damage when you're hitting your opponent. I mean, this is a deck that can get value from Rune of Mortalities by just throwing them on 1/1s or throwing them on either of these equipment, so I actually think I might be cutting Runed Crown, to be honest, just because it's like a 3-drop, so it's like the slowest equipment we have. If we're taking our turn 3 to drop Runed Crown instead of just dropping another creature, that's not great, so this is probably more like a turn 5 play, and at that point, it's just not that impressive, and the runes we have don't add for any more damage, they just give Death Touch. I'm actually going to cut Runed Crown here, I think. We're going to throw in Carter's Vicious Return. We have disposable creatures to use with it, and we could be reanimating something big like a Doomscar Titan every now and then, which could be good. Throwing in 3 more cards now. Definitely Shimmerdrift Vale is one of the lands. I think we throw in Double Raider, Berserker. And now I'm getting tempted to like cut a land to throw in a Run Amok, maybe. Maybe get some more of the 4 or 5 mana creatures in here. I mean, because now Jarl can foretell, so if we're stuck on lands, we can cast this for 2 mana. That being said, we do it slowly over the course of several turns, but it's still something we can cast even if we don't draw our 3rd or 4th land. And then the same is true for Dwarven Reinforcements. And Doomscar is a 5-drop, so we have 1 4-mana card and 2 5-mana cards. Everything else we can cast with 3 or less lands. It might just take some time for telling those cards. So I actually do like cutting maybe even 2 lands here. And if I do that, we're down to 38 out of 40, which gives me 2 more deck slots. How many creatures is this, though? 13 creatures plus a Dwarven Reinforcements. Makes me want to use at least one of those slots on another creature. I think I want a ton of creatures in this build. Maybe a Craven Hulk fill out that 4-mana slot. Maybe a Dusk Wielder to get just a 1-drop in here. I guess we don't have anything that cares about double spelling. We didn't get that Blood Sky Berserker. So it doesn't really help in that way, but it is still a creature we get out early and just get swinging as quickly as possible. That's fine with equipment. 2 cards coming in. Maybe we throw in like Dusk Wielder and Run Amok, because then Dusk Wielder can even get things done just with a Run Amok helping it. We're really all in on a bunch of equip style effects. I'm kind of into that. Kind of into that plan. I do love the mob with the Death Touch, though. So I do kind of want to cut something and try that out. Maybe we have enough equipment just as static buffs that this is less of a Run Amok deck and more of a just buffing up our creatures enough to trade off its sorcery speed with equipments. And obviously with Rune of Mortality, any equipment automatically makes it big enough to trade with any creature of any size. Yeah, I could see cutting actually the Run Amok to throw in the mob at the top end, but that might be a little cutesy. That just looks so neat to me. Death Touch Mob is a fun time, that's for sure. We could really try to cheese people out and just cut our 5-drops entirely and just put more Frostbites in here and cut lands and 5-drops. Not sure our early plays are good enough for that. I mean, they're solid. Like, we have a lot of them, so we know we can do things on curve a lot, but they're just not that great. Like, we prefer 2/2s over these 2/1 raiders. We prefer just bigger creatures over the ones that make them discard for the late game. So I don't think we're set up super well to go really ham in terms of cutting out cards like that. I think Rise of the Dreadmarn looks real solid in this deck because we're going to be just sending in 2s and 3s all the time, getting all kinds of creature combat going on to where this is frequently going to be making 2/2/2s very quickly. It's kind of just another Dwarven reinforcements in here, really, at like the base level. Well, I do think Mob with Rune is pretty cute, but like double Doomscar Titan is just so much better at 5 here. A real game ender when we're going wide. I think we're going to keep it as is. Go with a 15 land deck here. Not a lot of lands, but as you can see with how we've separated the curve, even if we don't hit our 3rd land, we can cast like half our deck. It just might take some time. And if we do hit our 3rd land, we can cast almost everything. Yeah, just a solid Rakdos fun time. Oh no, our deck picture is Ruined Crown. That's unfortunate. We did end up cutting that, I'm pretty sure. I could double check it. Our good old Ruined Crown picture. Showing us, we gotta remember the Fallen here. Okay, well, obviously the down to 15 looks bad here, but there are articles about the statistics of drawing whatever number of lands by whatever turn. Even when you're down to 15, you generally hit 3 lands, like turn 3, like 80-90% of the game, something like that. So this is just bad luck in general. We are going to have to mulligan this. See, look, it's a 4-lander. We've definitely got enough lands, look. I will keep this. Drop a Shimmerdrift Veil actually here. Do we have any double red in this deck? Doomscar Titan, but that foretells and costs a single red. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of my tapped land so I can go 1-drop, 2-drop, and if I draw a 3-drop, just immediately do a 3-drop as well. But like I'm definitely playing an untapped land turn 1, turn 2 here. So we'll just get rid of the tapped one. We've already got all the colors of mana that we need. Opponent starts up with a Plains, and we draw into a Demon Bolt. Solid. Get rid of their first blocker with that if we want to get really aggressive, but we're probably casting Run Amok on their first blocker and saving Demon Bolt for something bigger. Elderfang Disciple forcing a discard here. They got 7 cards to choose from, but it is taking a while. Rally the Ranks it is. So some kind of tribal deck here maybe. Gives all cards of whatever creature type they choose +1/+1. Well, all creatures they control of that type. So we're against white-black, so we're against like white-black double spells here, most likely. I do want to get the extra damage in here, so I'm going to boast Duskwielder. I don't get to hold up Demon Bolt by doing that, but I do at least get to foretell one, which means that I can hold up a Demon Bolt for only 1 mana in future turns, so that'll help a lot. Like if I draw another mountain, I could run amok and still hold up a Demon Bolt. Well, we're stuck on mana here. That's what we want to see with an aggressive deck, and now we get to just run out a Tormentor's Helm and get an extra damage in here. I think I'm going to put it on a Duskwielder, so that Duskwielder can keep attacking even if they play a 2/2. Because Duskwielder also has the boast ability that I like. And at 2 mana, they could have like a 2 mana 2/2 lifelinker or something, and then if I put this on, if I put the Helm on the 1/1, I would have a worse time sending in, whereas having a 2/3 to be able to fight with 2/1s, 2/2s, all that kind of stuff is good. No creatures still here once they've hit their third land, but that did give them a Rune Crown, which draws them another card by picking up the rune. So now they have pretty good chances at playing a creature next turn. That said, even though our creatures are quite small, we do still have multiple removal spells to back them up, so we're kind of just trying to kill them with a 2/3 and a 1/1 here, to be honest. I'm going to foretell a Jarl of the Forsaken, so I can get more power on this board. Doomscar Oracle, we can kill that with a Demon Bolt. Probably going to run amok and Demon Bolt this turn. I do need another red to do that, unfortunately, so maybe a Jarl and a Demon Bolt. We've got enough mana to do both of those. Alright, well, if they don't have another creature, we get to just Demon Bolt that to get in for our damage here. It does have Death Touch, so I do want to Demon Bolt. Yeah, I think I just Demon Bolt and then cast a Jarl during their turn to have another attacker, and then hopefully with these 3 creatures on board, it'll be enough to get in with a Run Amok and another Demon Bolt backup. Yeah, they're going to be at 4 life. I'll have a 3/2, a 2/3, and a 1/1. This does a damage to them no matter what. I have a Demon Bolt and a Run Amok held up here, so very unlikely to find a way to survive here. Just another creature with a rune on it. Yeah, not going to do it. We just get to Demon Bolt that away and send in for lethal. We've got lethal without it, but this will just make it simpler. Lethal without it because they just block Jarl. We hit for 3 there and use the Boast ability on Duskwielder. So, pretty solid, pretty classic aggro stuff. Obviously, that's what I do a lot of. Didn't have a great hand, had some pretty weak creatures, but just our opponent getting stuck on mana, allowing us to have some creatures on the board, and then having the removal spells to just clear out everything they played to block with by the time they hit their lands. We'll definitely just get you there. This is an awkward hand, but we do get Varragoth turn 3, and after that we can start boasting for red sources. How many do we have in this deck? I didn't actually choose my mana myself. I let the auto-suggester do it. I probably should have double-checked. We only have 7 red sources in this deck, and a Shimmerdrift Veil. Oh yeah, it's because I'm only running 15 lands. So 7 red sources, 7 black sources, and a Shimmerdrift Veil. Seems probably correct. But I will double check after this game if I remember. If I want to hit a mountain without having to use Varragoth to hit a mountain, with 7 in the deck, got like a 20% chance every turn. I do get to foretell reinforcements turn 2. I'm gonna keep this, but I'm not in love with it. I do like that I have Immersturm Raider also to discard one of these swamps when I hit my red source, because we're not gonna need 4 black. The mirror match it is. Rakdos time. Ooh, Rise of the Dreadmarn I could foretell. We're going to have to just drop down a Varragoth and send it in to grab a mountain. That's where we're at here. We send in Varragoth, use the Boast to grab a mountain, then main phase 2, play the mountain, spend 2 mana, grab Dwarven Reinforcements onto this field. Obviously, if they Demon Bolt our Varragoth or something, we're going to have a very bad time here. They're boasting, hit a Grim Draugr. They were on the play, so yep, I was going to say they could have the 3rd mana for that. That's pretty bad for us. Anytime you can draw cards off of Firewalker is a great time. We did draw the mountain, so I don't have to send in the Varragoth anymore. Could play mountain, Dwarven Reinforcements, and foretell something, Demon Bolt or Rise of the Dreadmarn, because I won't be holding enough mana for either of them. I could even just play Tormentor's Helm and equip Varragoth to make it a 3/4, so I get to attack with it and boast with it without worrying about it dying, but if I do that, they are cracking back for 6. and I've got no blockers set up. I really like getting the reinforcements out. Just getting 2-1s against their 3-2s seems very good here. So I think I do that and I foretell something. The fact that Demon Bolt is still going to cost me 1 red, even if I foretell it, is pretty big because of the fact that I only have 1 mountain. So I think the cost reduction on Rise of the Dreadmarn is actually much more helpful. Because I only get to cast 1 red spell no matter what. So I'm going to foretell Rise of the Dreadmarn. Like, foretelling Demon Bolt doesn't really help me double spell because my other 3 cards are all red. So I'm only casting 1 of these unless I hit a second mountain anyway. So I might as well spend full 3 on it. Currently. Kennel Master. Well, that's very bad for me. I think we take 8. Probably Demon Bolt that bad boy. We did hit a second red, so there's that for Demon Bolt. Could Immersturm Raider and Demon Bolt? Could Immersturm Raider Tormentor's Helm hold up Rise of the Dreadmarn? If they attack with Kennel Master, we can just trade with Varigoth. But also, Varigoth attacking in does pick up our 2/2 First Striker that can start spitting out dragons, and we have 5 mana now. So I kind of want to boast here, actually. It's risky because I'm at 9. You know what? I'm going to go for it. No risk, no reward. Dragonkin Berserker, get over here. It's also a really good blocker against 2 toughness creatures. So this is good in multiple ways. If they had removal, they probably would have just shot Varigoth. But I guess Varigoth isn't blocking super well, so it wouldn't have been necessary. Just trading with any of their 3/2s means they can just hold on to their removal for other cards. Like our Dragonkin Berserker. We'll definitely see. If they have removal, they're going to shoot Dragonkin Berserker very quickly. We're definitely getting run amucked, but like we're losing a 2/1 token out of this, so whatever. Sure, keep the Firewalker. We've got 3 mana up, 4 cards in hand. Bloodline Pretender it is. Alright. I think we get a 2/2 First Striker here, and we play Tormentor's Helm to equip onto Varigoth, so I have a 3/4 blocker and a 2/2 First Strike blocker. My 3/4 blocker can block a 3/3 if Pretender does get a counter on it. My 2/2 First Striker can block a 3/2. And we get to hold up the mana for Rise of the Dreadmarn. Could also just play Raider here. Like, I guess Varigoth trades with Pretender no matter how big it gets. So if I play Raider, I have another blocker and I draw a card here. And then I could even, with another blocker, set up for a larger Rise of the Dreadmarn. So do I want a 3/4 blocker to definitely block and survive against their 3/3? Or I guess they could always have just 2 more creatures. They've got 3 cards in hand, so if they have 2 more creatures, we just trade Death Touch there instead. Yeah, I'm actually going to play the Raider over the Equip here. Hold up the black for Rise of the Dreadmarn. So whatever happens here, whatever explosively bad things happen to me, if I don't die, I can get more blockers. And we just drew into Carter's Vicious Return, which is good. Carter Doomscourge. Alright, well, whatever bad things happen to me here, I get zombie blockers, is what I was saying. But Doomscourge is going to be a bad time. And an Immersturm Raider, that forces us into all attacks here, and we take a damage whenever an attacking creature dies, so at 4 life, Doomscourge is basically lethal. Doomscourge is a fantastic card. Probably the best Rakdos, like, non-rare card. Actually, it might even be better than the rare. This card is just very good. Definitely, probably best Rakdos card outside of Tibalt. Tybalt is probably better. Ooh, Rune of Mortality to throw on Dragonkin Berserker. That is cute. I also have Carter's Vicious Return I could play. I don't think I can survive here. With Rise of the Dreadmarn, I can get some blockers. I think I have to Carter's Vicious Return to kill Carter before I attack with any creatures. Because I go to 1 if these all attack during combat. Or they all die during combat is what I mean to say. So I think I have Vicious Return holding up a black for Dreadmarn and just hope for the best. But it's not gonna be good. They probably just don't block with anything, and then I get a single 2/2 and die. Kill Carter. Hopefully they at least like block Dragonkin Berserker here. Oh, wow. Oh, come on, please trade. Okay. Well, even just blocking Dragonkin Berserker is fantastic for me, because that means I get 2 blockers instead of just 1. If they didn't block here, they would have won straight up, whereas now I have a mild chance. Not a big one, but a mild one. Because now I actually have 2 blockers. 3 blockers, never mind. Yeah, because they killed Carter as well. So I guess I could have survived if they didn't have removal either way. 2 things would have died. The thing I sacrificed to Vicious Return and the Carter on their field. Bloodline Pretender's getting real woke, real scary, real large. Or swole. See, I don't know all the slang well. Swole is what I meant. Woke is something completely different. Alright, well, trade there, and I have to chump. Can I just go to 2 here, really? Go to 2 and kill Bloodline Pretender? I lose 2 of these. I still have 1, 2, 2, and a 2, 3. I can't really do that, because then I block there, die. Everybody discards a card next turn, so I can't play Hellman Rune of Mortality, unfortunately, unless I draw a bad card. Like, I just draw a land. But I have to, like, draw a creature or I die if I do this. I think I have to draw a creature or I die either way. Because if I trade here, I have 2 blockers then next turn. Death Touch on Pretender, 2/2 on the 3/2, I take 2. I guess I survive this turn without drawing a creature. If I block this way, so I gotta block this way. Oh. Dogged Pursuit. Oh, I'm gonna lose to a Dogged Pursuit. Here we go. I did draw land, that's good. Means I get to actually do the Tormentor's Helm Rune Mortality value. But Dogged Pursuit's mega gonna kill me. Mega killing me. Yep. Needed to draw into a creature immediately, because now they just have to do 2 to me. Dogged Pursuit will kill me in their end step. That'll do it. Maybe they won't attack, because I'm holding a red up for a Frostbite. That's what the red's for. Don't think about it. I have a Frostbite. I definitely have a Frostbite opponent. Attacking is bad here. Oh my god. Oh my god, we live to see another day? We go to 2? I mean, it's trade either way. So we just block. Yeah, it's trade either way. If they just top deck run amok, we get real mad. Way down. It's a good thing that's a sorcery, and I have no creatures left anyway. Alright. Carter's Vicious Return gets me a creature back with a counter on it. Oh, but I need to draw another one. Need to draw another one. Doomscar Titan is another one, but the fact that I didn't play Shimmerdrift Veil means that I don't get to play 2 creatures here, because I don't have the 6th mana for it. But here's the thing that you have to think about, right? If I played Shimmerdrift Veil, they would know that I didn't have Frostbite, and I would be dead right now. Because they know I don't have any cards in hand, they know they just have lethal attack on board. So I had to hold on to Shimmerdrift Veil. I guess I get to pick up Immersturm Raider, discard Shimmerdrift Veil, and try to draw an untapped land? Or any other creature? Yeah, that gives me the best chance here, actually. Immersturm Raider, come on. We're not actually dead yet. This is all to try to live one more turn, so I highly don't think it matters. But there we go, we lived one more turn. One final turn. It's pretty cool, but dogged pursuit is inevitable. Demon bolts. Man. This is actually so disappointing that I'm genuinely just getting dogged pursuited bad. Because we're so set up to stabilize if they didn't have a dogged pursuit. Wow. That's brutal. Well, that was a pretty... I mean, that was a pretty interesting game. That was definitely a way to lose. Just get got. We just die in their end step. It doesn't really matter here. We can send a message, I guess. Tormentor's Helm, sure. You're not getting a zombie. Get that out of here. No zombie for you. -1 we go. Well, there goes game 1 with our Rakdos aggro deck. I gotta say, overall, that was just a good game of Magic, honestly. I don't really have much to say either way. Oh, that was game 2. Oh yeah, the first game our opponent just got mega mana screwed. Alright, yeah. That's that second round, just a good round of Magic all around. I don't hate our deck. I don't hate our opponent's deck. I think we both have good decks, played well. Just didn't get there on our side. It's happening again. I totally forgot how the last game started. That it started with this, which meant that I forgot to double check our mana and see if we wanted actually 8 red, 6 black instead of 7/7. It's possible. God, we need 1 red. We need 1 red, and then this hand is so good our opponent's on the play. Risk it for the biscuit. That's what I'm talking about. This hand is now incredible. Look at this. Actually insane. And our opponent's foretelling a card, which means we get to get off the ground running. Dragonkin Berserker is going to just draw removal. And I don't really want them to kill it, so maybe I just play an Emberstrom Raider here. Seems pretty weak, though. Do I foretell one of these cards and then cast Varigoth next turn, try to have Varigoth draw removal? You know what? Whatever. Let's just send in, just get aggro. Send the 2-mana 2/2 first strike in. See, look, no removal yet. We get to actually attack with Dragonkin Berserker, and the first strike matters. They just can't block here, which is fantastic. Well, if I get flooded, I'm ready with double Raider. But not super likely with no other lands in hand right now. Do I play Varigoth or do I play Firewalker here? Probably play Varigoth, because then even if their Bloodline Pretender goes off, we can still attack with a Death Toucher or block with a Death Toucher. Firewalker gets like 1 attack off and boasts. Could also foretell one of these things or play a Raider. I think I'm just dropping rares on our opponent. Let's just show off. Opponent doesn't even know we have a Golgari rare in the sideboard too. Doomscar Oracle. Alright, that's a counter on Bloodline Pretender. If they play another human here, that'll be real bad. I want to believe they're mono white. I want to believe they're living the dream here. Just mono white aggro in draft. Be just a sick time. Yeah, we're trading. Glad I played Varigoth. Not about to let them just have a 4/4 forever and then a 5/5 and then, you know, so on and so forth. If I had a run amok here, an attack would be really easy and really good, but since I don't, I kind of just first strike away their 3/2 and then trade with Shieldmate, which is bad. Or it's not even trade. I would first strike there, and then I'd have no damage left to deal, so Shieldmate would eat my Berserker. So I just trade with one of their blockers if I attack, unless they think that I have Run Amok. Which at this point, the fact that I've sat here so long means they probably are pretty sure I don't have Run Amok, because I'd have just slammed in if I did. I think we play Dwarven Reinforcements. 2/1s trade into these pretty well. I guess Shieldmate replaces itself, but definitely trades up into a 3/2 well. And I'd like to keep my Raiders for if I hit like a 6th land. And I could only cast one here anyway, because I only have the one red source. We're definitely not attacking with Dragonkin Berserker when we're tapped out. Oh, they're white-blue. They're white-blue. There is the Bound and Gold for Dragonkin Berserker. They may have had it for a while and just were holding off until they knew it was a problem, which is when I have access to 5 mana. Just take 2, sure. I can attack in against this well. Try to maybe race here. Got a Rise of the Dreadmarn coming up. Now that I can't use Berserker anymore, I'm very tempted to just discard a Swamp here to draw a card, but if I do that, I don't have Rise of the Dreadmarn mana up. Probably just attack in first. If everything trades here, incredibly unlikely. Incredibly unlikely, but if they do, I can Rise. If I wait till Crackbacks and they attack with everything, trade, make 4 zombies, seems good. I get to attack in and play a Raider and still hold off the 3/2, so I'm going to attack in here. I don't think they're going to do the full swing. They're probably just attacking with Shieldmate again, so I can just trade Shieldmate with Raider here. Demon Bolt, ooh. Ooh, fancy. I think yet again, I'm going to foretell Rise of the Dreadmarn over Demon Bolt because I'm stuck on 1 red. So I could like double spell by playing Rise for 1 and one of these for 3 or less, but I can't double spell a 1 mana Demon Bolt and one of these because I've only have 1 red, period. Root of Sustenance. Time to Demon Bolt that flyer. Time to Demon Bolt the heck out of this flyer. They are sending in the Shieldmate. Do I want to do the trade? I kind of still don't, actually. Although we are getting low, so if my opponent plays Swamp Dogged Pursuit, we're going to wish we did. Hold up all the blockers for Rise of the Dreadmarn if they send all in. Actually hold up the Demon Bolt as well, so I can do it during their turn, alongside blocking this stuff. Yeah, we're just on blocks here. We're at 13, and we're trying to set up a big Rise. So we're hoping for just an all-attack or something. They're at 23, and they have a Lifelinker setting in, so that would have been beautiful. Looks like not an all-attack, unfortunately. Oh, these are tokens. They don't actually trigger our Rise. So we'll just get 3 out of this Rise. Maybe I do still take 2 if these tokens don't trigger the Rise. Yeah, I shouldn't have even been considering Rise before when I would just had token creatures. I'm so glad I read that at this point. Yeah, I think we Demon Bolt the flyer, Rise of the Dreadmarn. I'm going to Rise and end up with a bunch of 2/2s. 2/2s are good against a 1/1, so we will take that trade as well, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4 out of it. Seems pretty good. Oh, Doomscar Titan is actually really good with how wide our field is here. But we can already just like send all attacks at this point. We can only play 1 blocker after this though. I could foretell a card and play Raider still. Kind of want to discard Berserker probably. Kind of want to discard something to draw a card to try to hit the 5th land for Titan and then foretell Titan this turn. I don't know which one I want to discard, though. This is going to get aggressive quicker, but this can boast me into cards. When we're in the late game, I could be hitting pretty much anything at this point. We probably want... I mean, look how wide our field is. We probably want haste, right? Yeah. Oh my god. Alright. Let's go. Let's get all set up here. Attack all, get ready to block Oracle. Trade our 2-1 into their 1-1, a 2-2 into the 3-2, and hit for lunch. Or just don't trade into the 3-2. Put them down to 17. It's time for Doomscar Titans. Doom upon them. Oh, suit up the Doomscar Oracle to make it a 4-3. I will just draw the best card in my deck for this exact situation, because I am a talented Magic player. That is the concession. That is a fair concession. It was a good top deck. So we are 2-1, heading into round 4. I gotta say, I'm having a really good time today. I don't really care what happens here. We could lose a bunch of games. It is a really good change of pace. I don't know how, like, pro-level tournament grinders do it. That is so stressful. Like, I think I don't know, maybe, I don't know if it showed a lot, but, like, during all of that Arena Open stuff, even the one where I went 7-1, it was stressful the whole time. But tried to just keep it light. But now I legitimately, like, nothing matters. Whatever. It's another draft. We do this all the time. Maybe that would be, like, one way to get over it, and one good way to get over it and start not having the whole stress of everything get you down and affect your play in any way would be just play a bunch of Arena Opens, because eventually it'll be the kind of thing you do all the time. It's like, whatever, you're used to it. Like, a really pro-level player might not get the jimmies as much as somebody playing their very first Arena Open or something like that. I don't know if it, like, affected my play in a negative way, but it definitely, like, drained on me. Like, I could feel it, like, it was exhausting. So I definitely want to get less stressed about big tournaments and stuff like that if I'm going to be playing in those when they pop up. Just for my own well-being, if not for better gameplay. With double Rune Immortality, I probably want this to just be another black here. Because I've got every card in my hand requires black, so make it easier to double spell. Of course, if this goes like every other game, I'm going to end up with a bunch of red cards in hand and one red source, in which case that was the wrong choice. I think we're playing a Raider and we're just not discarding a card. They probably just hold back the Battlefield Raptor here, because they could do 1 to me a turn, but they could also just not take 2 a turn. Unless they have more plays here. Run amok. Oh my god, alright. Let's go. Run amok to just throw some damage at your face. I like the play. I am into it. Whatever opponent's doing, I'm all about it. Do I want to draw a card here to help hit my 4th land? Do I want to just foretell something? I mean, hitting my 4th land really does not do much for me. Like, I'm not going to Vicious Return here, so I guess I'll just foretell a Demon Bolt. That is a horrible foretell. Let's foretell it to where we could actually cast it. Good old Auto Tapper, our best friend, is back. Breakneck Berserker. Get on in here, friend. I lied. Get in the grave. Ooh, a run amok of our own. I really am tempted to run amok our opponent back, but that just seems... I don't know why they did it, but I definitely don't have a reason to just poke them for 3 extra damage. We're drawing cards now, trying to hit more cards to play. We did hit a Firewalker. So again, like, sure, by rooting on Immersturm Raider, we're not getting Death Touch on something where Death Touch matters, but we're just cycling this to draw a card. We're just spending 2 mana drawing a card, trying to hit something that helps us right now, because our hand is definitely a bit awkward. I mean, it had all of our colors and it had 3 lands, so I kept it for that reason, but in terms of, like, creatures and stuff, just 1 Immersturm Raider, not likely to get us all the way. Although 1 Battlefield Raptor is unlikely to get our opponent the whole way either. They did have a Breakneck Berserker, but we just shot that out right away. Keep the board nice and clear for now. If they're the kind of deck that's like sending in Battlefield Raptor and run-amucking on Raptor immediately, I feel like they're the kind of deck that is unlikely to have much greater targets to Demon Bolt, like anything that really needs to be Demon Bolted. Like here we can just block Axeguard Braggart with a Death Toucher. Kind of want to play my Dragonkin Berserker, but I'm also 2 mana away from ever activating it, but I could play it and throw a Rune of Mortality on it next turn, which is good. Could also play Firewalker, which if they attack with Braggart, I would take that trade and then I get to start boasting in with Firewalker trying to hit lands, which is good. I think it's Firewalker or Berserker here. I don't think we just foretell a Rise of the Dreadmarn, although if we foretell that, trade with Braggart, get a couple 2/2s. Makes it easier to hold up in the future. Then next turn we could play Berserker and hold up Dreadmarn. Seems a little weird, but I think that's a viable choice too. Yeah, I'll actually just set up for some 2/2s. I don't know. We're definitely not attacking with a 1 toughness creature into a first striker because it'll get eaten, accomplishing nothing. It won't even trade. Dwarven Hammer. Oh no. My favorite card in the set. On my opponent's board. Not fun. Not a good time. Oh, they're not even attacking. I don't get to do the trade. Well, you know what's good against 5/1 tramples? 2/2 first strikes. That being said, they get to move the hammer to the Braggart, but then I do the Immersturm Raider trade still. But yeah, 2/2 first strike are going to be really good against the 5/1 trample token. So they don't really get to get the value there. So I think Dragonkin Berserker it is, holding up the black mana for Rise of the Dreadmarn. Like, this looks bad for us, but I don't think it's that terrible. If they throw Dwarven Hammer onto the Battlefield Raptor, that'll be a pretty bad time, but I'm 1 mana off from Carter's Vicious Return, and I can just use that to shoot the Raptor. I'll have to sacrifice something that matters, though, if they don't trade things here. Yeah, they're probably not trading anything here, which is just bad for me, because now, whenever I Carter's Vicious Return, I have to actually sacrifice my 2/1 Death Toucher or my 2/2 First Striker. Yeah, not great. Oh no. Don't give me the Vicious Return mana. Don't make me sacrifice my 2/1 Death Touch. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. What's our option if we don't just sacrifice it? Because if I do sacrifice it, I kill Battlefield Raptor, but then they put the Dwarven Hammer on Axeguard Braggart and just go face. They attack with an 8/5 into my 2/2 First Striker. I just can't block that. I take 8. That seems terrible. I cannot afford to lose my Death Toucher here, I think. So I just play another creature. I just play the 2/3 Death Toucher. And then next turn I Carter's Vicious Return, hopefully drawing another land to Carter's Vicious Return and Rise of the Dreadmarn. I get to hold up Rise of the Dreadmarn by doing this, so if they do some kind of weird run-amok attack with their ground creatures, I can put that in my favor as well. Oh dear. Could also have thrown Rune of Mortality onto Dragonkin Berserker to have a first strike Death Toucher, which is cute. Oh my god. My opponent's living the dream. This is not fair. Double Dwarven Hammer. It's like, I'm literally playing against my dream draft deck. You can't do this to me. Alright. Vicious Return. Rise of the Dreadmarn. It is. I'm at 7 against double Dwarven Hammer now, though. I don't think this is going to work out. Dragonkin Berserker gets to block any of those. Varragoth blocks the Braggart. So if they have enough mana to put both hammers on Braggart? Do I just die? Double hammer on Braggart? Like, good lord. Double hammer on Braggart, that's 6 more power? That's 10? I have 5 toughness. I double block it and then die to the dwarves. Oh my god, I just definitely died to double hammer. Double hammer is, yeah, that's pretty insane here. I guess I could attack with Dragonkin Berserker and try to just get a 5/5 dragon here. Is there any way to survive by doing that? Then I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 toughness. 5, 5 blocks there. If they move their hammers well, I think I still die that way. They could also block poorly here, and I could try to run amok. I just die if I don't do this. So now I can run amok to kill the braggart. Then I'm definitely taking 4 in the sky. I also don't have the first striker to block the ground creatures anymore. Yeah, no, I die this way also. Run amok, I have 3 mana up afterwards. I get to play a Firewalker as another blocker. But I just don't have, you know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 toughness. I throw that all onto their Dwarven Hammered Dwarf, and then they hit me for 4 in the sky and 3 on the other dwarf. Just have like exact lethal there. Rise of the Dreadmarn would be a single 2/2 here. Could be multiple 2/2s if I Vicious Return, but if I'm doing that, then I would just let this die here. Play the dragon, whatever. Just see what happens. Very certain we lose on any line there. Yeah, I can only block 3 creatures here. Attack all kills me. Or they don't attack all. And then I get to survive 1 more turn. Because, yeah, I take 2 here, block, take 3 there. I guess that doesn't kill me. That actually doesn't kill me. So this kills my dragon. Of course, they have first strike on this big old raptor now, so bad time. I guess I did survive that turn. I'm still at 5 after surviving that turn, which is kind of a thing. 6 mana now. I have enough to Vicious Return and Rune of Mortality, although that doesn't really do anything. I can Vicious Return and Rise of the Dreadmarn, which also doesn't really do anything. Because double Dwarven Hammer is just... it's just too much. It's too good. Keep our highest toughness creature on this board. Yep, that's 12 trampling damage. Send in with those 2 and I die right there. Maybe my love for Dwarven Hammer knows no bounds, but I genuinely feel that is like top 5 best limited cards in the set. That thing is so killer. 2 and 2. Head on into round 5 here. See if we can't get at least a nice, even 3-3 return to the drafts. I think this was a good draft. But yeah, our last opponent, double Dwarven Hammers. Some killer stuff. And the mana has been a little rough for us. Although we did cut down to 15, so that makes a bit of sense. Getting stuck on mana a little more often. But the stuck on colors was definitely rough. Maybe we throw another mountain in here because we've been getting stuck on red a lot. Just drop like an Immersturm Raider, throw another mountain in. Of course, we're going to get mega flooded in this last game after doing that, but we'll see. We will see. Back to 16 lands here. Round 5, 2 wins, 2 losses. Come on, opponent. Let's get some good games in here. Do what we can. I guess nobody's playing Arena tonight. Sad. Alright, here we are. 2-2, see if we can't pivot into a 3-2. Maybe rally all the way up to 7-2. Not likely, but that's always the best run you can get. The goal is always 4-3. 4-3 is essentially breaking even on gems. You like 1,400 gems back with that, right? And if you own the whole set, every rare you get is 20 gems. So you only need to get 5 rares, and you're getting extra packs. So yeah, basically, if you get 1,400 gems back out of the draft, you can basically break even if you own the whole set. I think I'd rather play Elderfang Disciple than Foretell Reinforcements, because then I can turn 3 Breakneck Berserker, potentially turn 4 Vicious Return, sacrificing Disciple. We hit an island out of their hand, so they are a very multicolored snow deck, as you'll see a lot. Snow-covered forest, snow-covered swamp, and an island here. Glittering Frost. Yep. We are definitely trying to curve out against this nonsense. Let's go. Let us slap them. Next turn we can play Dwarven Reinforcements if they don't play a blocker, or if they play a blocker that's too big to shoot for 3. If they play a blocker that has 4 toughness, I'm in a bad spot here. They play like a Bergstrider or something. Glittering Frost is just a very good card. The mana fixing and ramp and providing snow mana is so solid in this format. Card I barely looked at when the set first came out, but once you've seen just the power of the multicolored snow decks, this card really overperforms. But yeah, like during spoiler season, I was like, what? Snow mana fixer, whatever. Snow ramper. But now I'm like, oh god, snow mana fixer, snow ramper? Time for a bad time. They have 4 mana available right now, even if they don't play a land for turn. They play Frost Augur and Grim Draugr. Alright, so no land for turn. Did not hit the turn 4 Bergstrider there. Would have been some good stuff. So I can Vicious Return, killing their Draugr with my Disciple. I could also just trade Draugr with Berserker if I attack in. I could kill Frost Augur to try to stop them from drawing cards off of it, but if they're sitting here drawing cards off of this, then it's not blocking. So I think we're fine to just Vicious Return. We actually don't even need to Vicious Return, really. Because I can just attack with Breakneck Berserker and trade it with the 3-2 and not really feel bad. Because then I just play a couple 2-1s that attack in well here as well, because they just trade with Frost Augur. Yeah, I'm gonna actually just play some reinforcements. Probably should have waited till main phase 2, but I'm excited. I like dwarves. Dwarf Berserker tokens. They come with Dwarven Hammer. That's how you know they're good. We did take that trade. I think that trade was going to happen whether or not I played the Dwarven Reinforcements, so it doesn't really matter, but generally better to hold off on your stuff till main phase 2. Give your opponent as little information as possible for their decisions. Or if you think giving them more information will make them make the decision you want them to make, then you could main phase stuff. Just all the mind games you try to play. Tyrite Sanctum from our opponent, so if they get any legendary creatures, they can start throwing +1/+1 counters on them. Legendary creatures are basically all of the multicolored, powerful, uncommon creatures in the set are legendaries, like Sfella, Narfi, Firja, all of that kind of stuff, and those are splashed quite a bit in the snow decks. So I expect some of those like uncommon legends to go with Tyrite Sanctum is pretty likely. Obviously the rare gods and stuff, much less likely just because of the rarity of those cards. But they could be playing it for those as well. Alright, Tormentor's Helm's pretty good here. We can throw that onto Elderfang Disciple and attack in with that as well, and still hold up Run Amok to just trample over Frost Augur and keep all our creatures on this board. Although they have 3 mana up with 2 Foretold cards, could be like Poison the Cup or something. If they have like Poison the Cup and Jarl, if they're going to use them on our 2-1s and 1-1s, we're pretty happy with that. So I think we just suit up our dudes. Or alternatively, if it's a counter spell, we're happy with them countering a Tormentor's Helm or a Run Amok over like a Doomscar Titan in a couple turns. Attempt the trade there. Could Run Amok, or I could just let it happen. I think we do want to keep all these on the board, and we're likely to be spending a lot of our mana in most of the other turns, so where we can't hold up Run Amok. Like, if I don't draw another land, I don't get to Run Amok and Firewalker. Even if I draw another land, I don't get to Run Amok and Vicious Return. And I'm definitely never having the mana to cast Doomscar Titan and Run Amok. And here, even if I draw a basic to where maybe I could cast Firewalker and Run Amok in the same turn, I can also just cast Firewalker and foretell Doomscar Titan in the same turn. So we still have a good play if we have 5 mana available next turn. So I like just getting that Run Amok out of the way. It's going to be awkward to cast it later with what we have in our hand. Blood on the Snow. All right. Definitely not the end of the world. They killed a Disciple and a couple 2/1s. They did get a Grimjogger back, which is good for them. Is that in their hand? Yes. That is what that symbol is. So we can make them just discard that right now. Seems good, because they're obviously just going to cast it if we don't do that. So we basically get to use Disciple as a removal spell, because they are unlikely to have cards in hand at any point after this. So I'm just going to play Disciple for that reason. And Disciple does turn into a 2/2 that does get to attack them, and they're down at 9. They don't have good blocks for it, so they're probably just racing here, and they might even have to use removal spell on Disciple. It's unlikely, but they could get convinced to do that, and that would be a good time for us. That's less removal to use on bigger creatures like Doomscar Titan and Firewalker. Of course, if they just have another good creature, it's not a good time, but they'd have to have top-decked it. I think if they have any Foretold creatures, like, I just don't think they have Foretold creatures. Oh, just a Frostalker? Oh, Augury Raven. Okay, that makes sense. They do have Foretold creatures. Could Vicious Return to kill Raven. I don't have another Run Amok here. Could threaten it by attacking, but they'll probably still just block with Raven. Because they are at 9, so even if I have Run Amok, you really kind of have to block at this point. Yeah, I like Vicious Return on Raven. I start taking 5 or 6 a turn, and I'm at 16 right now. Then everybody discards a card next turn. I can just discard like Duskwielder or something, and then I start playing. I can play creatures that can block everything but the flyer here. I can get back my 3/2 as a 4/3, or I can get back a Disciple as a 2/2, make him discard a card on the third part of this. But I could also just discard Doomscar Titan here. If I don't draw land, depending on what I draw, that might be the play, because then I could cast Firewalker and Duskwielder. And then I'm planning on returning Doomscar Titan with the third part of this saga, returning it with a +1/+1 counter. It actually seems very solid. It's worth considering even if I draw a land, just discarding Doomscar Titan. Alright, hit for 7 here. I did draw a land, so I can cast Firewalker and Duskwielder and equip one of them if I keep this land. If I discard this land, I can play Firewalker and Duskwielder to have blockers for the Menace, but I'd have to double block and lose both those creatures, so I don't have good blocks for the Menace. I guess that's the same way even if I discard the Titan. This is a hard choice here. I don't get to cast Titan next turn guaranteed unless I foretell it. And keep the land. I don't think... Like, I'm at 9 life here. I really want to have 2 blockers out, and I can't have 2 blockers out and foretell this Titan. So I'm gonna discard this Titan, I think. Of course, if we just draw another land next turn, then we could have held on to Titan and not needed to foretell it, but we just have no guarantee we're going to hit another land after this. Firewalker, Duskwielder. Equip Duskwielder with Tormentor's Helm, so both of our creatures are big enough to kill a Frostaugur on attacks, so at least they only attack with Grimjogger, even if they have a removal spell for one of these. And if they can't deal lethal to us, we could try to crack back for lethal, because Doomscar Titan's going to come back as a 5/5 from our graveyard and give +1 power to the rest of our field. So 5 power by itself, and adding 1 more power to everything else. Like, this hits them down to 4 by itself. So That is worth considering. I mean, they're at 9 here. They can do that 2 more times and hit me for 6, putting me to 3 life. If I get Doomscar Titan back from the grave and they don't have any other creatures here, they block Doomscar Titan, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because I get to boast with Duskwielder. I get to boast with Firewalker as well. I have to be able to survive 2 hits from Grimjogger, though, if I can't just lethal them next turn, and I can't. But I could at least, like, attack with just Firewalker next turn and boast, if it's still on the board. Obviously, if I double block here, they get to just trade off. Which seems really bad for me. I'm left with a single 4/4 against their board. If they have a single removal spell, that's very bad. Oh, but if they have a pump spell, I die right now. We'll see. This is just like mammoth growth. That'll be the end of it. All right, down to 4. Another creature. Another creature would be very bad for me as well. Land. All right. Ooh, we hit a land as well. That's not a good time. Doomscar Titan, come on out. Is this exile a card from a graveyard? I don't know why they're holding here. What is this? Oh my god, it's a counter spell for the Doomscar? I'm gonna get a 2/3 Frost Augur at least. I think I sent in with the Boaster. I still have 2 blockers for the Menace creature when I send in with that, although it might be better to hold 3 blockers so they can't win by top decking removal. The fact that they have to just top deck something is nice for me. I could attack with just Duskwielder and gain a life here. I think I would rather try to draw a card than gain a life, because even gaining a life with Duskwielder, I'll be at 5 life, which is still dead to Grimjogger. They've got so much snow mana. I'm going to die to Grimjogger, even if I gain like 3 life here. So, do I even move Helm over to do 1 more damage at this point? What are my average mana costs left? I have 5 mana available, so I'll have 5 mana available. I've got a Jarl, a Firewalker. I have 1 4-drop, 1 6-drop. If I hit my 6-drop, I'm screwed. But other than that, I have 1 4-drop, 4 3-drops, 5 6 3-drops, 6 3-drops, and everything else is less than that. I'm going to move the equipment to get 1 more damage in. Come on, 3-drop. Even if it's a 4-drop, I can cast it, but I won't be able to move the equipment back. So yeah, there's 1 card in my deck that I would not be able to cast here. I wouldn't be able to cast it either way. Draw a Rune of Mortality. Cool. Probably throw that on the Helm and then move that equipment over, although this does draw me another card, so if I draw another creature that costs 2 or less, I'll want to play that rather than re-equipping the Helm, but I think that's okay. Shimmer fails on black, right? Yeah. This is a fine tap. Throw this on Helm. Draw a card. Come on, 2-drop. 2-drop would be so good. Alright, just a land. That's okay. That is okay. We will move our Helm over. Duskwielder 2/3. We are planning on double blocking Grimjogger. If they top deck removal here, we are very dead. If they don't, though, we are really setting up. Narfi? Narfi's terrifying, but Narfi's not removal. How many snow cards do I have in my deck? 0, right? So it's just not good to use the ability. Well, goodbye. They did draw removal and a big old creature. So we were definitely not getting there either way. They drew Narfi and Bergstrider as their 2 draws. Absolutely devastating. Well, that's going to do it. Sending us to 2-3 here. not the perfect return to Premier Draft, if I'm being honest, but I enjoyed the draft. I loved the drafting process there. I think we ended up being able to pivot into a fun Rakdos strategy. I mean, green got cut so hard, there was no way we could have stuck to green there. Although we did see a lot of good white, so maybe the best route, the best lane, had we managed to get in there, would have been some kind of Boros deck. But it was firmly not green, so our first, like, our pick 1, pick 3 did not pan out for us, which was a little sad. But I think we ended up with a solid Rakdos deck. Maybe got a little greedy with the amount of lands I cut. But other than that, just some pretty standard games Magic. Some wins, some losses. It's going to happen. 2-3. Not 3-3, so not a 50-50, but not far off. Not that bad. Anyways, that is going to end today's Premier Draft. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, you know where to go, where to be, what to do. You're at the right place. On my channel, I do upload Magic Arena games daily, mostly drafts, but we will be doing all of the, well, a lot of the F&M events and the random little fun events coming up. So we got Kaldheim for a while still, but they're bringing Theros back next week. I might play a couple Theros quick drafts. And then in March, they are bringing Premier drafts of other sets back on, so I'll definitely be doing Premier drafts of their sets when they come out in March. I think War of the Spark and then some core sets after that, so that'll be fun. And obviously in April, the next set will be out, and we'll be doing Strixhaven. So in the meantime, probably going to be a lot more Kaldheim for a bit. And I do have next Saturday the standard Mythic Invitational qualifier, because I made Mythic last month, so I gotta kind of obligated to play Standard next Saturday. So I guess we'll be doing that. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all again tomorrow for some more Magic Arena content.